So yeah, the film adaptation of a shallow video game with little story and one main draw to it turns out to be a shallow movie with a lot of story and the same draw. I guess it's a good thing the masses love their gore. Mortal Kombat 2021 is a film adaptation of the 1992 video game series of the same name. Mortal Kombat, the game franchise, is notorious for its over-the-top violence and extensive amount of gore, even being used in the infamous 1993 congressional hearings about violence in video games, and eventually leading to the ESRB rating system. So you would think a franchise of this importance and influence deserves a great film adaptation, right? Well, you'll just have to keep waiting, because Mortal Kombat the film is just not that good. At all. And I hate saying that, because I really wanted to love this movie. But outside of the violence and the fatalities, there just was not enough substance in this film to dig into. But in all honesty, that's okay. Let's start at the beginning, with the prologue. Easily, in my opinion, one of, if not the best parts in the movie. Everything in the prologue is so engaging, whether it's the actors, the setting, the cinematography, or the action. Every moment of this part of the film had me on the edge of my seat, eyes glued to the screen, as Sub-Zero makes his way through Scorpion's home, killing anyone who stands in his way. And then when Scorpion finds out that his family's been killed at the hands of Sub-Zero, and goes to fight him and the people under him, it's honestly awesome. I love the makeshift kunai chain, where Scorpion tied a kunai to a rope. I thought that was really inspired, and it was a great scene all around. After that, though, the movie really starts to fall apart. To begin with, the pacing in this film is all over the place. Act 1 is just a constant barrage of story and characters, and then backstory for those characters, and it gives you no time to breathe. Introducing the characters of Jax, Sonya Blade, Kano, and a brand new character named Cole Young, who is our protagonist in the film. It moves at such a breakneck pace that the characters are essentially introduced, show off their combat ability, and then basically look into the camera and say, "I am such and such character," and then wash, rinse, and repeat. And this goes on for all of Act 1, and most of the beginning of Act 2 when the film starts to introduce the villains. It's just the same formula. Combat abilities, look into the camera, I am so-and-so character. As for the story in this film, you would think the adaptation of a story as simple as people get into a tournament and they fight each other to the death. That's it. That's all the story. It's simple and to the point. But somehow this film finds a way to be so overly complicated and boring with ancestral ancient rivalries. And a big prophecy that isn't really explained at all, and then a great ancient tournament called Mortal Kombat that, by the way, we don't even get to see in the film. Why call the film Mortal Kombat if you're not even going to have the Mortal Kombat tournament? The villains from Outworld want to invade Earthrealm by ensuring a victory in the upcoming Mortal Kombat tournament. So they play outside the rules and try to kill off Earthrealm's fighters before the tournament starts. And that's okay, I've heard worse plot setup ideas, but that should have been just Act 2. The villains try to sabotage Earthrealm, but it goes wrong, so instead for Act 3 they actually have to face them in the tournament. I could see that working. But instead, in this movie, the bad guys try and sabotage the good guys. They fail, and then the good guys train. And the bad guys try and sabotage them again, and they fail again. And then the good guys train again and talk about more boring ancient stuff. And then the bad guys try and sabotage it again. But it works this time because one of the good guys is not really a good guy and flipped on them, and now we really have to fight. And for the big climactic battles, they pair off into mostly one-on-one fights reminiscent of the games, using familiar locations if you played the games. But it mostly feels shallow, and in my opinion, most of the fight pairings don't even make any sense thematically besides Sonya versus Kano. The fights, on the other hand, are really solid. This is why people come to a Mortal Kombat movie, and it delivers. Sadly, there just aren't enough action scenes to outweigh the rest of the film. It's cool to see the characters fight and use their special moves from the games, and every now and again they will say one of their iconic catchphrases, and it's a little cheesy and out of place of the movie, but I like it. I will always take a little goofiness and playfulness instead of the almost comatose state the rest of the film is operating under. One character who is not comatose in this film, however, is Josh Lawson as Kano. He easily steals any scene he is in and has some of the best lines and moments in the whole film. I also want to point out the costuming in this film. I was pretty much in awe with every single character's outfit. They all looked a little out of place and a little weird for the context of the film, but they looked so authentic to the original game designs, and I thought they looked amazing. It was definitely the right choice. This film is underwhelming, and in my personal opinion, not that good. But honestly, that's okay. It delivers the main texture you want from a Mortal Kombat movie. It brings the action, the camp, the corny one-liners, and buckets upon buckets of gore. And if we're being honest, what else do we want from a movie based on a controversial video game from the early 90s? This film was a good time at parts, and if you love your over-the-top violence and gore, I can definitely see this movie being something you have in your collection, and in a few years from now sitting down with your friends and showing them the film so they can see a couple of the messed up fatalities. This movie wasn't the worst thing in the world. In fact, far from it. The movie is a riot when it decides to go all in and have a good time with the content, but when it doesn't, it can be a boring slog of a film to get through. But honestly, that's okay. This film is just simply turn off your brain, watch the crazy fight scenes, and enjoy the wild ride. It doesn't strive for anything more and achieves nothing less, and that's perfectly fine. What did you think of Mortal Kombat? Comment down below and let me know. If you liked this video, leave a like. And as for now, this is Piccolo's Left Ear, America's favorite golden boy, signing off, and have yourself a wonderful day.